So here we are at Air Design's 22 SEMA booth. I'm here with a good friend, Carlos Molina from Projekt Cars. So this year they built 13 vehicles for Air Design with all our products on it. They're all booth cars. So mine is 13 minus 1, 12. So here, this is
That's one of them.
This is one of the 13. So this Bronco right here has Air Design's flares on it, our hood scoop, and our door panels.
Yeah.
Can you explain a little bit why you use Air Design products and what other products you want to put with it to get that unique, aggressive look that you're so famous for?
Well, I like the Air Design products because not only do they fit well, it flows with the whole body. The lines go well with the products. I don't have, I've never ever had to worry about fitment with your products, and it's I don't want to go into it because I think I know how they get designed, but the way you get the products designed shows. It flows with the Ford products.
Well, even old guys like me, where I started doing everything by hand, now that we do everything on the computer.
Right.
So it's I look back the way I used to do it, I'll never do it again.
Yeah, well, our first vehicle that we built together was in 2004, and ever since then, I've leaned on you for products, and now that you're doing all the Air Design and fitment testing, we've tested them going cross country with the events that we do. I've tested them in the extreme heat, El Paso. And they are daily vehicles. I mean,
well, let's talk a little bit about this Bronco. So these are our new Bronco flares that we do for Ford. Mm-hmm. So Ford wanted a little bit more aggressive one because obviously they have the factory one,
right?
And then they have the Sasquatch. Yeah. So this flare right here that we make for the Ford Bronco, it's an inch wider and ½ inch higher than the Sasquatch. So how does that fit up when
Well, it's perfect because
when we design it, we're doing everything on the computer. So you're putting the rims, tires on it with the suspension. So how does that flare that we designed fit with the wheel and tire and make it easier for you?
We like to use, on the Broncos, we have seen that the best tire for it is a 37.
Okay.
But we have also put 40s and have had no problem with drivability with your flares. Your flares give it that extra inch, that extra girth. And so it not only looks well, but it allows the vehicle to have the turning radius that it needs.
Well, that's we design everything on the computer, and plus I've had a ton of experience doing this for the last 25 so years. But it's really nice working with a company like Projekt Cars because you guys are actually designing the wheel package, suspension, so that gives us validation that what we're thinking on the computer
actually works
for a car builder. That it works, and then when you guys come back and give us that okay.
Yeah, and the good thing is we were lucky enough to get your fender flares last year for the Broncos, so we were able to test fit on 4-inch lifts, 6-inch lifts, 35s, all the way up to 40s, no problem whatsoever.
Well, did you notice there was a handful of Broncos last year?
Yeah.
This year they're every place.
Yeah.
So it just shows you that
the Bronco is being dominant. We saw less and less Jeeps this year than they have been. I don't think I've seen that many Gladiators, but I've seen a few Wranglers. But yeah, every other booth, it was like the Supra when it first came out. Every booth had a Supra. It seems like every other booth has a Bronco. And in this hall, it's like you throw a rock and you hit a Bronco.
So let's talk a little bit about Air Design's scoop, because that's hood scoop is probably one of our most pop.
It is. I can see why.
Yeah.
And I think I've said it before in the past. It's I consider you guys OEM plus because it's products that are aftermarket, but that you could actually envision coming off the Ford line. That can coming off the Toyota line because it goes so well with the factory lines of the vehicle, and the fitment is as perfect as you could possibly get.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's one of the nice things, being back in Detroit and working with all our project and engineering and the Ford designers, because they believe in us, and plus they're giving us a platform to do it. Well, I keep looking at you, and I know you as Carlos Molina Projekt Cars. I see the Projekt Car logo on your thing, but can you explain in depth what you guys really do? Other than, I see the cars you build, but what does it take? What's behind the scenes?
Well, Project Cars, it started off in the early 90s as a mechanism to acquire parts for soldiers that were overseas. And once I learned about SEMA and I was being deployed back to the United States, I positioned myself to get a vehicle in SEMA and did a lot of research. Had no idea about SEMA. Went through, and this is, you know, back whenever I was doing emails, there was no Facebook and no Instagram. So I would produce these crazy proposals, thick proposals, and send them out to companies for sponsorship. And that's how Project Cars went from an online service to service members to a entity that builds vehicles for SEMA. I did my first SEMA in 2000 with a BMW, and I started building, you know, onesies, twosies, 5 at one time for SEMA. And people started asking me, well, how are you doing this? Can you help me out? And it went from myself to having a group of people. And these people are either active duty military or veterans. And we build the vehicles in my 3-car garage,
There you go.
believe it or not. And we bring them out to SEMA. After SEMA, we do a whole tour throughout the Southwest, promoting the products and showcasing what the supporting companies have done for us. We do booth activations. We do different, now we do different marketing initiatives for different companies. We have a white room. We shoot the vehicles in a white room. I do a lot of social media content.
This is only day 2 of the SEMA show. What are we going to do for the next year?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
We're just barely getting done.
We're barely getting started, yeah. But we're planning for next year already.
Yeah.